So I would like to introduce the first presenter of the day, Dr. Kamalinne. He's the Secretary General of Asian Africa Consultative Organization called AALCO since 2022. And Japan is a proud member since its inception. And he will give us today the presentation on the role of the AALCO and in promoting international law. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kamalinne.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here to talk about the role of AALCO regarding the developments and codification of international law. Perhaps I think quite all of you know a bit about AALCO because you form member state, but some who from the firm or student, perhaps you don't realize exactly what we do in AALCO. So the topic that I will can say that just bring you to attention in 1.5 hours is on the current challenge of international law and the role of AALCO. AALCO is the name is from the Asian African Legal Consultative Organizations. It's we can say that the regional international organization is composed of countries from Asian Africa, and since establishment in 1956, now is this year is 67 years of existence of AALCO. Before I start my talk, I'd like to introduce to you also. I accompanied by my Deputy Secretary, Mr. Junyabada, who also with us here. Mr. Junyabada is seconded by the government of Japan to help the work at the AALCO Secretariat. As I mentioned last reception that Japan kindly seconded the deputy from the legal diplomat to help the work at the Secretariat since quite a long time. And Japan is one of the founding member states of AALCO. So the topic that I like to discuss with you, just a brief outline. The first, I just to bring you in mind to a bit to go in the past about the developments of international law since the Second World War. I will not go so far. As you know that if we go so far, we can go at the 17th, 18th, 19th century, long time. But I would like to start after the Second World War. What happened about the developments of international law? And second, the issue of the Bandung Conference. I know that we have colleagues from Indonesia also. Bandung is a city, nice city. It's happened very historic events during the year 1950s. And the Bandung Conference is very important for I think for our countries. Can say that from the south, from Asia, Africa, when they had the opportunity to come jointly and discuss about their futures, about their developments, economic, social, and other issues. The Bandung Conference is very important for our regions, Asia and Africa. And then you can say that AALCO, the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, is the tangible outcome of the Bandung Conference. We set up in 1956. This year is 67 years. And I will introduce you a bit about what we are, what we play the role in developments of international law, and also how AALCO contribute to the codification and progressive developments of international law. And last, how about the challenge issue of international law that we AALCO approach now. So let's start at the first topic. I think you know quite well that the Second World War finished in 1945, start 1939 to 1945. And what happened after the Second World War? There are many issues. For example, if we go to the big organization, we know the UN, United Nations, and some authors in the national organization also set up after the Second World War. And I think you're familiar with the Charter of the UN, the Charter of UN, as you are international lawyer or as you are in the international relations or diplomatic. I think you need to know quite well about the Charter of the UN. And the Charter of the UN and the Statute of the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, as you know that these two, can say the international instruments signed at the same time in 1945, just the year end of the Second World War, on 26 June 1945. And we can say that it's, after the Second World War, since Second World War is start the period of the new developments of international law, because we have the Charter of UN, mentioned many about international codification developments and the roles of many organizations, and also the ICJ, as you know, is a body who make decisions from some conflict, some disputes between states. And also we have UNGA, the United Nations General Assembly, is like the forum, very the biggest forum among member states. And also at the Charter of UN mentioned that we use the platform of the UNGA for the progressive developments and codification of international law. This is highlighted in Article 13.1 of the UN Charter. This is very important UNGA. And UNGA, I think some of you have experience to attend the annual session of UNGA. It happens possibly in September, October, quite every year. It's take quite around 6 weeks in New York. I think it's in next month, September, October. And then also we have another body, part of the UNGA. We call the UNGA SIG Committee. SIG Committee is a legal committee or C6. Perhaps some of you may be part of your delegation to attend the meeting of the SIG committees. The meeting of SIG committees during the time of the UNGA in New York, around the end, as the end of October, around that. And the SIG committees play a role to consider the work of another body we have the AALC, International Law Commission, set up in 1947. I think you will have learn a bit about the AALC with Professor Asada. You have the session with Professor Asada, one of the AALC members from Japan. I suppose that he brings some knowledge about the AALC, what AALC work now. And the AALC is very important, the body composing of around how many? 34 member states, and have geographical members from Asia, Africa, Latin America, Europe, many. And we have, I think your countries, you have some IOC members that come from your country also, in India, in Thailand, in Japan, in Vietnam. We have around, in our AALCO member state, we have 47 member states. We have around 13 IOC members from AALCO member state. Around 13 IOC members from AALCO member state. So now, this is a broad picture about the organization UN and the UNGA and SIG Committee and IOC, who play a very important role in codification and development of international law. And then what happened since the Second World War in Europe? After Second World War, as you know quite well, that most of the Second World War happened in Europe. And after Second World War, many countries in Europe, like France, Netherlands, even Germany, West Germany at that time, come to talk about the issue of the regional integration or European integration. And how to prevent the war in the future. And some organizations set up that time, as you may know, the Council of Europe. The Council of Europe, not mixed with the European Commission or European Committee. The Council of Europe composed of countries from Europe. Now around 40, 47, 40, around that member state. It has a headquarters in Strasbourg in France. We call also the Conseil de l'Europe in France. And it's an organization composed of all member states in Europe, set up in 1949. And also that time in Europe, they have one very important instrument on international law. We call the European Convention for the Protection of Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms in 1950. One of very old instruments on human rights that time. And also after that, they set up the European Human Rights Court and located also in Strasbourg in France. And also that time, the issue of the European integrations and how they can prevent the law and set up peace and security. That time we have, in the year 1950, we have some important treaties. The first on 1951, Treaty of Paris, creating the ECSC, European Coal and Steel Community, because the issue of coal and steel very important during the Second World War, and how we can manage and just to take care amongst the countries in Europe. That's why happened this European Treaty of Paris. And then we have Treaty of Rome, is very important. In 1957, Treaty of Rome. They have two treaties. The first treaty establishing the European Economic Community, EEC. And also we have another one, a treaty establishing the Euratom, or European Atomic Energy Community, that time. It's very important to Treaty of Rome. The Treaty of EEC, and from time to time, they change to European Economic Community to European Community, and now the European Union. We have the Treaty of Maastricht in around 92, establishing the European Union. And also after the treaties of Euratom expired in 2002, all the regulation rules on coal and steel integrate in the treaties of Rome. So now it's very important, EU, you have European Union, it's a body, and European Union have many institutions as Commission, Council, what called Court of Auditing, many very important organizations in Europe. This is happened in Europe briefly, and this body also developed international amongst Europeans. And so they joined at the forum as UNGA as author forums to produce some their perspective from European side. And then what happened in the South? I think in our countries. In the South, we can say that the third world or developing world, or we can say the country in the South is the less developed world, or newly independent states. After the Second World War, there are many independent states happened in the year 50, 60, 70 in Asia, Africa. And there's many words, keywords that time, independence of colonizing countries. The colonization of Asian Africa happened that time after the Second World War in the year 50, 60, and 70. And also in 1955, they have a very important conference as I mentioned, at Bandung in Indonesia. This is the first large-scale Asian African conference, can say that time, with the newly independent state or countries will become later independent. And the conference aims to promote the two-side region, Asian Africa, on the economic and cultural cooperation, and opposed to the issue of colonialism or issue of new colonialism by any nation, especially from the power nation that time. And also, as I mentioned, that the AALCO set up in 1956, a year later of the Bandung Conference, as a tangible outcome of the Bandung Conference. And also that time also you may heard about the NAM, N-A-M, the non-aligned movement found in 1961. And with the 5 principles and the role of the NAM is to keep away from new independence from East Africa, from superpower at that time, and protect and preserve their independence. And NAM play a big role at times, from time to times. Yes. You heard about that? NAM, AALCO that time. It's very important, but now it's quite less we heard. Just non-aligned movement, because after the years 60, 70, there happened many regional organizations. For example, the African Unions, ASEANs that time. And after the Bandung, developments of international law since the Bandung Conference, and how about the Asian African perspective. The Bandung Conference in 1955 held in the Bandung in April 1955, organized by the countries that time. Indonesia is the main countries because host the Bandung Conference. We have also Myanmar play a very active role as one of the organizer of the events. Now Myanmar, India, Ceylon, this time Sri Lanka and Pakistan. These countries is the major organizer of the Bandung Conference. And also the Bandung Conference paid the attention and try to engage the issue of the regional integration also, or cooperation, regional cooperation amongst countries from Asia, Africa, and also how to find the issue of, we can say, the common interests of the country from Asia, Africa. Very important for the corporations. And also that I mentioned that the need to eliminate the colonialism or racism, and the mention also that how the countries in Asia, Africa can contribute to the developments of international law, as the process is very important for include the perspective from Asia and Africa regions. And just briefly, if you search in in website Google, you can find the 10 principles is very important of Bandung. You need to keep in mind and understand a bit about the Bandung. We can say Bandung spirit. As AALCO, so we work, we keep in mind, as always, the Bandung spirit when we work, because very important, because we are the outcome of the Bandung conference. That's why we keep always in mind when we work the Bandung spirit. It's composed of the 10 principles: respect of human rights, and the Charter of the UN, respect for sovereignty, very important, territorial integrity, recognition of equality of all race and equality of all nations, abstention from interference of the internal or national affairs of other member states, and respect the rights of to defend under the UN Charter, the right to self-defense, and abstention the use of what called the arrangement of defense to serve the particular interests of some countries as the big power, and refraining from acts of aggression of the use of force against other states, and settlements disputes by peaceful means, as negotiation, conciliation, and use arbitration also, and promotion of mutual interests and cooperation, and the last, respect for justice and eternal obligation. This is very important, is the Bandung spirit. And we can conclude the Bandung spirit in some few words, key three words: friendship, cooperation, and solidarity amongst member states. And the AALCO, the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, set up a year later in 1956 as the tangible outcome of the Bandung Conference. And as I mentioned, that the three keywords are the Bandung spirit that we keep in mind: friendship, solidarity, and cooperation. That's why in the work of AALCO as a forum for the two regions, Asia and Africa, we are all friends. We keep the perspective of work friendly. We don't have, we avoid and we don't welcome the issue of conflictual issues raised during the big events by one or some member state against other state, because we based on the Bandung spirit of friendships, very important, solidarity and cooperation. We not like the forum as UN that some countries come to make a criticize to other state or like to impose some sanction to other state. We do not have this kind of practice, because we are all friends. And we work as the rule-based organization. We keep very important that the role of each member state to contribute to the work of the AALCO, to the organization for the codification and progressive developments of international law. And the conference, as I mentioned, that it's very important that is kind of the starting point that how the country in Asia, Africa saw international legal orders as well that time. That's why you can say that after the Bandung, the country in Asia, Africa play important role to contribute to the development of international law by have voice or perspective in many international forums as the UN, UNGA. And this is a historical background. This is at the Bandung Conference, that time in 1955. I learned that the conference hall in Bandung still exists, right? And sometimes Indonesia used for host very important events. Very important events. Yes, at the beginning, we are not AALCO as today. We are as a committee. At the starting, we are only reunited the country in Asia, not from Africa yet in the beginning, in 1956. We called the Asian Legal Consultative Committee. We like a committee as the ad hoc meetings. We don't have the body as the institution or secretariat organization as a committee, just that. And from time to time, that time at the beginning we have 7 founding member states. As I like to mention, Myanmar, now Myanmar, Burma, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka, India, Indonesia, Iraq, Japan, and United Arab Republic, now Egypt and Syria. It's 7 member states, founding member states of AALCO. And then from time to time we developed the statute rules, and we change include country from Africa in around 1958, and we changed the name to the organization in the years of around 1980 to become the AALCO around 1980. And the role at the beginning is as a kind of platform for the country in Asia Africa, and also as a legal advisor. For example, some member states like to request AALCO to study on a particular topic of international law. We have the team to study like a research and then submit to the meeting, to the conference for member state. If member state prepare to ratify or become party to some treaty or convention and request AALCO to study, that time we provide a kind of legal advisors and also legal platform for member state. And yes, as I mentioned that in 1958 we changed the name to the AALCC, include the country from Africa, and we still as the committee. And then we changed to the organization around 1980, the year 1980. The name changed in 2001. But we have the statute rules in around 1980. That's why our organization work on we can say the rule-based organization. We have the statute rules. We use the statute rule for the big events at the organization, for considering some particular issue among member states. We use the statute rules of AALCO. And this is the purpose and mission of AALCO. As I mentioned that the first we serve as the advisory body to member states in the field of international law, and to consider issues related to international law refer to the organization, to AALCO by one or some member state, and we make recommendation, a kind of research, and then submit to the member state. And we provide as a platform for exchange of view among member states, and communicate some perspective or some idea to the author organization, but with the consent of member state. For example, we work closely with the International Law Commission, and every year we submit some perspective during the annual session to the ILC, to contribute to the ILC about our perspective, about the voice from our member state. It's very useful for the ILC to have some feedback from the countries in the regions of Asia Africa when they draft some convention on international law. And also as the beginning, we decide as a body to study or examine the matters of the ILC. We include the matter or the topic or the work program of the ILC in our work programs. It's very important. For example, I think you heard you hear from Professor Asada. Now the ILC work on some particular issues of the issue of sea level rise under the law of the sea, issue of the dispute settlements between international organizations, issue of some secondary source of international law. We try to study and see that how the ILC work, and we try to brief and keep post to our member state. And for example, this year we organized the annual session, and during the annual session we have a session on the matter of ILC for member state to come and deliver statement opinions to the plenary. And now we have 47 member states. 47 member states. Mostly countries from Asia. We have around 32 from Asian states, and the rest 15 from Africa. 47 member states. From time to time, yes, we like to engage more, invite other countries in the region to be part of our member state to join AALCO. For example, in Asia, in ASEAN, we have quite all except the Laos, PDR, and Cambodia. And also we try to engage more countries in Africa. Africa is very important because we provide a platform for cooperations and the venue for the country in Asia, Africa. As we know that in Africa, you have the African Union. You have also OCO, the African Union Commission on International Law. We also contact with the OCO, and let's see how we can cooperate more with the OCO. OCO work on the Africa side, but we work both two regions. Yes, we try to cooperate with many organizations and to give the, can say that value added to each other. And how become member state of AALCO? 47 member states. It's open to all Asian African states to join if they accept the study regulation or study rules of AALCO. Just simple. And the process is that the one member state desires to join AALCO just to send a written request to the secretariat, and then we will circulate to all member states. And during the next annual session, it will be considered by all member states. All member states. And the most important that they should be in line, in accordance with study rules, and also contribute in terms of financial also to the AALCO. And now I can say that we work on many issues of international law, many issues. We have now around 18 topics under our work programs. Topic of international law. This is quite many, 18 topics. But each topic has a subtopic. Many, quite 100 or 18 major topics, and each topic has a subtopic. The first one, as I mentioned, that we work closely with the ILC. We take the matter or the topic of ILC and include in our work programs. The first one. We work also on the law of the sea. The law of the sea. And for example, the law of the sea, we have issue of the sea level rise, BBNJ, many issues. Issue of environment and SDG. For example, issue of the climate change is very important also, climate change, and the sustainable development goals. Issue of expansion of road goal. Refugees is very important, refugees. Refugees also, we work closely with UNHCR. And issue of the violation of international law in Palestine. This issue is was with the AALCO quite a long time. Issue of violation of international law in Palestine by Israel. Yes. And also the topic on migrant workers. migrant workers, in the issue of trafficking, issue of cross-border workers, issue of extraterritorial application of national legislation, how the effect of the law can apply to other countries, national law. Issue of the violence of extremists and terrorism is also one of the other topic. Cooperation against trafficking in women also is very important. Trafficking in women and children. The topic of the ICC, International Criminal Court. We also cooperate and we signed the MOU with the ICC also. And that time during the Rome status, AALCO, together with some member states, we try to keep posts and provide information to member states to how to become the member of the Rome Statute, the ICC. And the topic of the corruption, against corruption, is very important in the legal, international legal aspect. We have many instruments on international law on against corruption. The topic on international law in cyberspace is a very important topic also. Last 5 years, we have the special study prepared by one of the eminent professor from China and on the topic about the cyberspace. And also, we work also with the other UN agency as the UNCITRAL and other international organization as the UNTAD. What we work with UNCITRAL, the issue of the investment, as you know. For example, next month we will organize, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of India will host the International Conference of UNCITRAL, and we had the opportunity to invite the Secretary of UNCITRAL to come to the Secretariat to update about the work of the Working Group 3 on ISDS reform and some other issue of UNCITRAL to all member states also. And other IO, for example, we also work with, cannot say exactly, we can take some issue of the UNTAD about the issue of IIA reform, International Investment Agreement reform. Sometimes we in the past, we had the opportunity to jointly organize some capacity building for member states about the issue of the BIT, ISDS, and IA with the UNTAD. And the topic of the WTO, very important at that time, as a means of the international trade law. The WTO is a very important body who drive the issue of international trade, cooperation, and law. Issue of global financial crisis also is one of our work programs, and issue of the human rights in Islam. And the last, the issue of the peaceful settlement of disputes through negotiation, arbitration. This is all our work programs. It's quite large, cover quite all topics of international, 18 topics. And so I'd like to inform that we have 3 ways to include one new matter of international law can be placed on the work programs of AALCO by 3 ways. The first referenced by one member state. For example, one member state willing to propose a new topic in the work program of AALCO is very welcome. But the process is that when a member state propose a new topic to the Secretariat, we need to circulate to all member states to reach the consensus of member states in the practice. For example, during the organization, it means that the big conference every year, we have the process. For example, before the 30 days before the events organization, one member state can propose a new topic 30 days before annual session, and then the script will circulate to all member states. And then just before the annual session, the day before, we have the conference, we can say, the meeting, we can call the head of the delegation meeting. And then with member states, we consider the new topic. If they are all okay and can reach consensus, we will include this topic to our work programs. And the second, our matters could be placed on the work program through the suo initiative of the schedulers as me. I have the role to propose a new topic to a work program, but also we need to circulate to all member states to reach a consensus as a member state propose a topic. And also the third one, we as automatic can say, we follow up the work of the AALC. For example, if the new session AALC next year include new topic, it's quite automatic. We include the new topic of AALC in the work program, because it's very important that we follow, we work closely with AALC, but we need to take the topic of AALC in work programs. This is the three ways of the topics could be placed on the work programs of AALCO. And how about the advantage when a country join AALCO as member state? The first, we provide, as I mentioned, a forum for Asian African consultation. You can join the forum. The second, if member state wish to refer any problem, legal problems, international of interest to AALCO is welcome. But it needs to be a kind of the problems relate to quite a number of member states, a kind of common interest of member states. Can refer to the schedule to make some recommendation or some short research about these legal problems. And also, as I mentioned, different other matters, and also assist the member state in considering the report of the AALC. As I mentioned that we work closely with the AALC. Every year we follow the work with the AALC. For example, as Secretary General, I attend the session of AALC, for example, last month in Geneva, to update about the work to the AALC. And then we follow up about the report after the session of AALC. And then we make a brief and send to member state. And just before the annual session, for member state to study, to consider. And it's good for them that they can learn and be informed about the new issue of the AALC. When they join as the delegation to the annual session, they can provide some perspective relating to the work of the AALC. And also we, as mentioned, that we provide the advisory service to the member state by our secretariat. This is the advantage of AALCO member state or AALCO membership. And the issue of the finance is very important that as under the statute rules that we have the budget, we call the annual budget, is the financial contribution for member state. Every year, member state contributes financially to the AALCO. And we have like the scale of contribution in the past according to the GDP. And now we still have the process of amendment or review the scale of contribution of the financial contribution. And also we have the voluntary contribution from member state. For example, if member state, as this one, Japan hosts the training on international law for member state. It means that also Japan provides the special voluntary contribution apart from the annual contribution. Some countries provide in terms of material to the organization, to the secretariats. It's a kind of special financial or voluntary contribution to member state apart from the annual contribution. We very welcome this kind of contribution. And also we have the budget for Arabic fund because we use both English and Arabic. That's why we need to translate all documents to the Arabic language. We have Arabic fund provided by Arabic state to the Secretariat. Okay. And then just talk a bit about the structure and decision making in the AALCO. We, as I mentioned, that every year we host, we organize the big conference we call the Annualization. The Annualization of AALCO is a kind of the perennial platform and of high decisions, mean that all 47 member states we send delegation to attend, and mostly they send the highest eminence person to attend, lead the delegation. Some countries have sent the Minister of Justice, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Some countries has the Attorney Generals. And also we have the group of delegations, quite numbers, around 3 to 10 delegation of member states. And during the annualization, we have the opportunity to consider member state, had the opportunity to consider the report of AALC, the new issue of topic of the international law, and so the issue of the administrative and financial matters of the organization. And this year we will host the organization in Indonesia. The government of Indonesia kindly to host the organization of AALCO this year in Bali in October this year. We appreciate very much, the Secretary appreciate very much the intention of the Indonesia of one of founding member states to host in Bali this year. Since the last organization in Indonesia is happened in 2004, quite 20 years ago. It's a very good opportunity that we go back again to Indonesia. And during the organization, it's been that a week, Monday to Friday, just spend a week. We also have deliberations as a general statement, consider each topic. For example, the matter of AALC, the topic of the human rights, the topic of intertrade investment law, issue of refugees. And also we're still looking forward, member state, to propose the new topic or some topic under work program to be deliberated during the organization. And so that time we have the opportunity to jointly host with the host countries some side events, very important. For example, I heard that we host side event on the IHL, International Humanitarian Law, with the ICRC, together with the host state, Indonesia. We organize side event on investment and human rights, very important. Business and human rights is a part work of the UNJ, the United Nations Guiding Principle on Business and Human Rights. It's very important issues. Yes, this is very big events that we're looking forward to for the organization every year. But normally the organization will be host on member state based on geographical rotation. Last year we host in Delhi, but this year at the Secretariat we try our best to invite some member states from Africa to host, but still perhaps after the pandemic, some member states still hesitate to host, but we're looking forward perhaps next year. Some member states from Africa is willing to host in a session. Is very welcome. And this the photo during a session last year in New Delhi. In New Delhi, it's happened in the month of September, quite a year in New Delhi. Big number of participants from member states. But last year we still organized the organization in the hybrid mode because of the pandemic. completely. Some country not open the countries, but why we need to host the as the hybrid mode. But this year we will host quite all in person. And also how we work with member state. As the organization is every year, only every year. But during that time, during the year, we work closely with the member state through the, we can say that, liaison officers. Liaison officer. We have meeting of liaison officer every 2 months in the AALCO Secretariat. This is as the, we have the conference room in the Secretariat, and we host every 2 months the meeting of liaison officer. The liaison officers mean that a person who nominated by member state, mostly they are diplomat, work at the ambassador or high commission in New Delhi. And some we prefer about have the legal experience, but also we welcome some as the interrelation or authors experience also. And every 2 months we keep posts, inform what happened about the work of AALCO to our member state through the liaison officer. And then they will report back to their capitals. And also at the AALCO Secretariat, as I say that we as a work, as a routine work, as the issue of administrative financials, I myself as Secretary, I lead the Secretariat, AALCO Secretariat. And we have 3 DSG, Deputy Secretaries. As I mentioned, we have one from Japan, Mr. Jun Yamada, second by the government of Japan. And we have another 2 DSG, second by member state also. One from China and another one from Iran. The 3 countries consistently second someone to help the work of the Secretariat as the DSG. And we still welcome other member states to second someone as the DSG or assistant of Secretary Generals or as a kind of a legal expert to help the work at the Secretariat. We welcome. And also we have maintained the permanent observer in the office of the UN in New York and in Vienna. But we're still looking forward for one observer in Geneva also for member state, because we need to work closely. We received the status of observer from the UN. That's why we need to have our observer at the UN in New York, Vienna, and Geneva also. And this is the picture of the office. The building is kindly provided by the government of India. We locate in New Delhi, in the area we call the Chanakyapuri. It's the area of the diplomatic enclave. And this building look very, very beautiful. And this is the back of the building. Have 3 words also, justice, liberty, and fraternity in the back of the building. This is our secretariat in New Delhi. And also we have the Center for Research and Training, which provide capacity building, training, or make some research. It's kind of the arms of academic or research, collect all data, informations at time. And also, apart from that, we have, you can say we have the Regional Arbitration Center in some member states. It means that since 1928, we adopt the scheme for settlement of disputes in economic and commercial transaction. And then it was suggested to establish the body called the Center on Arbitration or Regional Arbitration Center. And since the AALCO with some member states, we jointly set up the Center, Regional Arbitration Center Now we have 6 centers in member states. The first one we have in Cairo in Egypt. It means that the Cairo center is jointly set up by AALCO and Egypt. The center set up under the auspice of AALCO, you can say that. And we have also in Kuala Lumpur, in Lagos, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, Lagos, Nigeria, Tehran in Iran, Nairobi in Kenya. And the last one set up in the 59th organization in 2021 in Hong Kong, SAR. And also we still welcome if member states wish to jointly set up the center with AALCO. Normally the center work their own, but every year during organization they will submit the report and present the work in person. We have a session at the organization about the work of the regional center also. For example, this year we welcome the 6th center to attend organization and deliver some statement and report about the activities during the past year to the organization. And also at the Secretariat, we welcome the younger generation of member states. It means that students of law or students of political science, international relations. We welcome students to join AALCO at the Secretariat as in the internship programs. It's very important that the younger generation can learn how we work in the Secretariat. We like to build a kind of a network amongst younger generations. It's very welcome. We receive mostly from the host country, from India. Sometimes we receive from some member states, from China, from Japan also, from Oman. And after they fulfill the period of 1 month or 4 weeks, we will deliver to them a kind of a certificate of attendees. And during that time, they can prepare a kind of a small research on particular issue of international law under our work programs. And some topic they prepare is very interesting, very successful, and we publish in our journal also. So we will welcome students from member states to join as internships students in our Secretariat to learn how we work and to know perhaps in one day you become someone in the Secretariat to help the work of the AALCO. And also now I think I will not go far. We have allowed half an hour, right? Right? We finish at 11, right? Around that? I think so. Huh?
We finish at 10 to 11, 10:50.
What?
We finish at 10:50.
10:50?
Yes.
We passed already?
No, we have 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Or 10:50? 10:50, okay. Okay, I will go quick, and I think I will let the time for some Q&A and some comments from all participants better. So how AALCO contribute to the development of international law? We can say we have quite 3 ways. The first, as we have a forum of the body, we provide the venue for member states to come to discussion, cooperation in the legal matters of common concerns. It means that we provide a venue for developments of international law for member states. And also, during the organization, the member states deliver the general statement or the statement on particular issue of international law. It means that a kind of the state practice, a kind of custom, is very important also state practice. And also, the Secretariat had the ability to prepare some small research or some special study on particular issue of international law. Which one? For example, last quite around 10 years, we prepare very fruitful and very important special study on customary international law by Professor Yi from China. It's very recognized by the IOC, and they use the report. It means that the special report, when the special rapporteur prepare, and then we just present to all member states to receive some guidance or comments, and then we forward to the IOC. And the report on the customary international law is very well recognized by the IOC. You can search in the website the special report of AALCO on customary international law. It's very well recognized. It means that we contribute to the development of international law by prepare some research or some report and submit to the ILC. So this is in the past. I will go quick. We contribute to many issues of international law in the past. For example, the matter of ILC, as I mentioned, that we work closely with ILC. The topic of the ILC is as automatic to include in our work programs, and every year, for example, last through an session we considered the report of the ILC on the issue of the immunity of state, the protection of environment in relation to the armed conflict, peremptory norms of general of international law or jus cogens, and also issue of the law of the sea civil rights is a very important topic also. And sometimes we also jointly organize some event with the ILC. During the pandemic, we organized some webinar on civil rights and on GPL, General Principle of Law, and we invite also the ILC member to be part of the panelists. And so diplomatic law at that time is quite at the beginning of the establishment of AALCO. We contribute quite very important perspective to the Vienna Convention that time. The Vienna Convention on diplomatic relation also take some perspective or some issue that happened during the organization of AALCO. The topic of the law of treaties also. The law of treaties, as you know, that we have the 1969 Convention on the Law of Treaties. That time also we just provide some opinion from member state to the draft article prepared by the ILC and submit to the ILC when they draft the article on the law of treaties. The topic of the law is many. For example, the issue of UNCLOS, the United Nations, the Convention on the Law of the Sea. We provide many perspectives. We organize many events to help member states to jointly be part of the negotiation of the UNCLOS, and also the concept of the EEZ, the economic exclusive zone, is happened in the AALCO. It's proposed by the Kenya, and then this concept has taken in the UNCLOS also. And so other issue of the archipelago state and the rise of landlocked state also we consider during that time. It's very important that this we contribute in the past quite a lot with the UNCLOS. And the issue of the refugee law, internal refugee laws, very important also. In the year 60, when Thailand hosts the annexation in 1966, the AALCO, the annexation, adopt the kind of principle, we can say a kind of a soft law, because it's not legal abiding. We call the Bangkok Principle. And the Bangkok Principle is very important because at that time, not so many member states of AALCO be part of the 1951 Refugee Convention. And the Bangkok Principle is broader than the UN Convention on Refugees because they have many issue protection of a person fleeing not only for persecution but also for warfare and auto-violent situation. And the Bangkok Declaration also include the very important principle, the principle of non-refoulement, not return. It's very important. It goes quite far of the UN Convention on refugees and have an impact in the future of the refugee law. And also we work now closely also with, as I mentioned, with UNHCR, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. We have the MOU, and we organize jointly the events with the UNHCR. For example, last May we organized the webinar on the Global Compact on Refugees. and mapping forward for AALCO member state. It's very important that we keep post about the global compact, and we'd like to receive some perspective of our member state. That's why we work on issue of the refugee law. And also issue of corruption, as I mentioned, also we part of many instrument convention on against corruptions, and also AALCO also promote member state to be part or join some convention as the member state ratification of legal instrument against corruption. And issue of environment and sustainable development is very important also. We work on the issue of the, as I mentioned, on the issue of the climate change is very important. Issue of the this issue is taken in quite a long in the years 1974, proposed by in the organization held in Tokyo, and this issue is with AALCO quite every year when we organize the organization. And now I think the topic of the climate change, the issue of the can interrelated with the zero waste, because the issue of climate change and displaced persons, issue of human rights also. Many issues happen in the issue of the environment and SDG. And also the international law, international investment law, one other important topic. As I mentioned that we follow the work of the UNCTAD on the issue of the ISDS reform. And as I learned also that in the past that the AALCO, the Secretariat, under the request of the member state, we draft the model investment agreement for member state in the year 80. Because that time, as you know, that the investment treaties after the Second World War, the first BAT concluded in 1959 in between the West Germany and Pakistan. And that time, member countries in Asia and Africa negotiate and conclude the bilateral investment treaties. That's why that they have a request from member states that AALCO need to prepare a kind of model agreement for member states when they negotiate. Because during the past period, when the countries in Asia Africa negotiate BIT, they quite follow or were imposed by the European model from OECD or from some France, UK, or other countries in Europe. They have their own model. That's why we need the model investment agreement for our member state. And we have, that time we have decided model ABC. We use the pattern of the industrialized state, and B, we quite flexible and just to focus on specific investment, and C, on that time we more of investment in the year 80, 90, focus on investment in mining and natural resources. That's why we take more attention to the issue of investment in mining and natural resources. We have 3 models. It's very important, but I learned that we never use, member states never use, I don't know, I wonder if some member states use some model in negotiation of their investment treaties. But it's the work during the years 1980. And also, actually, the topic of IA, International Investment Agreements, or ISDS, is one of the major topics of AALCO. So we follow the work, as I mentioned, UNCTAD, and also with the UNCTAD. So I will try to stop here, and just to raise that now we focus on, we can say that the contemporary challenge of international law in AALCO. As in general, the topic of the ILC, the issue of the climate change, issue of the BBNJ is very important under the law of the sea. The issue of trade investment, as I mentioned, that issue of ISDS, and also the WTO now, as I know that now the WTO focus on the reform of the dispute settlement mechanism. that will be discussed during the next the MC Multilateral Conference in February next year in UAE of the WTO. And so the issue of refugee protection is very important because it's related to issue of climate change, issue of civil rights, displaced persons, and also the topic of women's rights and children's rights in international law. The Convention on the Rights of the Child, or many convention, CEDAW on children is still a very important topic today. So I think I will conclude my presentation, and I think we have around 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A or some comments from you all. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.